Welcome into the Boom Bust Dynasty Trade Show. Today, we have 14 trades currently in the queue. We're going to take a look at them. We're going to talk about them. That's a lot of trades, and we're probably going to add more during the show. So let's not spend any more time. Let's get into the first trade, and then we'll come back around with a little bit of intro of how to get your questions added into the queue. Let's throw the first trade up here. First trade of the day comes from Everett's dad. Hey, Everett, shout out your dad. In a 10-team Superflex, 6-point passing touchdown, start 10, half-point PPR, half-point tight end premium on top of that. Are we sending David Montgomery and a 28 third for Torrey Horton, Jaden Higgins, and a 28 fourth? So we swap from a third to a fourth, and we go from David Montgomery to Torrey Horton and Jaden Higgins. I think for me, taking a look at the roster that we have here of Montgomery, Charbonnet, Jonathan Brooks, J.K. Dobbins, we have decent running backs on this team. Is there a reason to swap this over to a maybe receiver? Shmoney saying, oh, shoot, fantasy time again. We're talking Dynasty. Shmoney, we're talking Dynasty. Noonan from last season. Welcome back. With this deal, are we taking David Montgomery and pivoting to Jaden Higgins, who maybe becomes a wide receiver for the Texans, and then going to a deeper draft pick in 2028? I think for me, with the roster as shown here on the widescreen views, I think I might just stick with the running backs. David Montgomery, Charbonnet, Jonathan Brooks, J.K. Dobbins, Tony Pollard. It's all kind of aging assets. David Montgomery is going to start for this team and is probably going to be running back, 24, 25 on the year with upside to go past that. I'm not a massive Jaden Higgins believer for just swapping Houston assets. I think I like the running back. Torrey Horton's not really adding anything to me. Pivoting from a 28 third to a 28 fourth is not really exciting to me. I'm not sure why we're trying to move running backs. If we are, I'd probably just try to get picks for David Montgomery rather than Jaden Higgins, who looked okay last year, but I'm not sure that he's going to do all of that much in his career. So I think I'm sticking with the running back and the pick. We've got regulars joining in. Bro Chacho's here. We've got some questions coming through. Outpost saying, what's up? Welcome back, Outpost. In on the stream earlier today. We've got some folks joining in on the YouTube stream. Welcome in, everyone. Got the first trade cleared out of the way. If you guys are looking to have your trade questions answered, we do not pull them from the chat. We pull them from our website, boombustfantasy.com. Here it is. We'll pivot over to that because it is very easy to make your account. And then when we cover your trade questions, we can do what we just did. We can show your team on the screen and your league settings. Here's how to do it. At our website, boombustfantasy.com, you just click Get Started on the homepage. I'm logged in to Google Chrome. I mean, I really only use this Google Chrome for this show, so hopefully I'm still logged in with my Gmail. But creating your account is as easy as just clicking Continue with Google. You can also use your Discord, and there we go. My account is created. The next thing you need to do is just type in your Sleeper username. Russell Goff, thank you for the heart me's. The next thing you just need to do is type in your Sleeper username, and it will pull every league that you are in on Sleeper. And then as you're navigating the site, you just need a league selected as the league you want to look at your team from, or the league you want to see. So you click any of these. We have Discord connections for posting your trades directly to Discord. For this demo, we'll skip it. If you want to submit your trade question, once you're logged in, you just click trade advice. And what we're looking for here is request expert review. And then you just type in your trade. It's going to pull your league settings and it will send us your roster so that we can show it on the screen as we go. So that is how you get your trade submitted. We'll take a look at a couple other questions and then we'll hit the next trade question. Like Blaze Peak, who do I think won the Myles Garrett trade? Typically the team that gets the player usually ends up winning. The great player typically comes out ahead. I don't try to get into like who won the trade. And then as we get further years down, like they've traded the pick, they acquired picks. They then traded those picks for more picks and other trades. usually the team getting the player comes out in a pretty good spot, especially when it's the Rams trading their future firsts for picks. A lot of those times it has just worked. Like Jalen Ramsey trading for Matt Stafford. They won a Super Bowl, bringing in Myles Garrett. There's a very good chance this is going to be a great Rams team. Next question that we have, Kermit, what would you say A.J. Brown's value is worth with just picks right now? I wouldn't say it really changes. Russell Goss saying A.J. will be better with May. I mean, the pick value in the market has already kind of been assuming that he's going to be going to the Patriots. And A.J. Brown, I think, was wide receiver 11 last year. So what I've found with players from the Eagles is that the trade market is just kind of off. People don't like Jalen Hurts. They haven't liked Devonta Smith, even though they thought he might become the lead wide receiver with A.J. Brown leaving. They didn't like A.J. Brown on the Eagles, even though he was a wide receiver 1 last year. The market's just kind of been off on the Eagles this offseason. Him going to the Patriots, any value discussions that I had in my most recent A.J. Brown trade video would generally be the same. Anything that we had there, I would have thought at the time. Like we thought he was going to get traded at some point. So we'll look at that. Can Devonta Smith hold wide receiver 1 value, wide receiver number 1 for an NFL team? Sure. For your fantasy team, Devonta Smith's probably not going to be a top 12 wide receiver. He'll be a wide receiver 2 this year, very likely. And the Rams defense got a boost today. Yeah, they definitely did. Just Sports, am I taking guests? Nope. No, not during the live. It's possible that we might take guests on this show in the future, Just Sports, but I'm not that great of a conversationalist. I don't think I could meet someone right now and do the show. So the next trade on the board from It's Colts. It's Colt in any given Sunday, a 12-team Superflex. Start 11 with a full point tight end premium. It's a full PPR. It's a bit deeper. We've got to trade Trey McBride for Brock Bowers. So it's Trey, Puka, and Ken Walker for Brock Bowers, Tet McMillan, a first and a second. And when we're looking at this one, let's start to break this down. It's a bit deeper of a league. So as we get into like a 28 mid-second, that does hold a little bit more value than you might think. Just starting to knock things off on each side. Like I would rather have Brock Bowers than Trey McBride, but it's pretty close. There are a couple picks within a round of each other in a Dynasty startup draft. Puka Nacua is probably the most valuable asset. So we might even just say like Puka for Brock Bowers. And then a 27 first and second for Ken Walker feels a little bit low. And Tet for Trey McBride feels a little bit low. So how are we reading this one? I think it's just the Puka Ken Walker side. I think it's the Puka Ken Walker side. Let me run through this again. Like, who do we want more, Puka or Brock Bowers? With the full point tight end premium, it is going to push Brock ahead by a little bit. It'll push Brock ahead by a little bit over Puka, but is that enough to make up for, and it'll push up Trey McBride in the same way. The picks for Ken Walker, I think that's a cheap price to pay for Ken. And then Tet McMillan going to Trey McBride, I think kind of makes up for it. So I think it's a slight edge on the Trey McBride side. Let's pull up the rosters here because this is a team sending Tet McMillan with the question, like, should we send Tet McMillan, Brock Bowers to bring in Trey McBride, Puka, and Ken Walker? Yeah, I think so. I think I'm giving that slight edge to the Puka side. And Puka's the Puka and Brock Bowers are kind of just crossing each other off and then going from Tet to Trey McBride in the tight end premium and going from the first and a second to Ken Walker is where we're really seeing that value win. So we had a question from Just Sports. Am I buying into all the Cardinals hate? Not really. I mean, not really. Yeah, it's a hard question to answer because I don't know how far any sort of Cardinals hate has gone. I don't really have any issues with the Cardinals this year compared to where they were last year. Do I hate the Cardinals this year more than they were last year? No. They were pretty bad last year. Did they do a ton of stuff to get better this year? Jeremiah Love is much better than the running backs that they had, which was no one. So I like him a little bit more than last year, but not much. Dave Lindbergh, do you think A.J. Brown is better than the 11th wide receiver on New England this year? Not really. Not by a lot. Not a notable amount. And really, Dave Lindbergh, do I think that A.J. Brown will finish better than the wide receiver 11 this year on the Patriots compared to where he finished last year? No. He had some really bad games last year. If he just didn't have horrible games to start the year this year, I think he could finish as a wide receiver 1 on the Eagles. Looking at last year, we get to the end of the year and we say, where did you finish? And with A.J. Brown, you have to keep into account, like, I think he missed 1 or 2 games or didn't play at the end of the season. So he finishes at 11, even though he didn't cover the whole season, and then had a really rough stretch to start the year. If he had an average stretch to start the year, he'd be slightly higher. Like, he's already really good and was really good last year. Going to the Patriots, he's just also really good. Fantasizing Football Nerd, would you do if this is just a trade question, Fantasizing Football Nerd, we take all of our trade questions through our site, boombustfantasy.com. So that will show up here. Looks like I had been covering that trade without showing them. Leo, what's your thoughts on Boston? That's just another trade question. We just take all our trade questions through the site. Let's pull the next one up. We have a queue that is going across the top of the screen on YouTube and Twitch showing where you are in the queue. We already have a pretty beefed up queue right now. We're at 16 trades right now. We started at 13. We've covered a couple. So we've added more trades than we've covered so far, which is normal at the start of the show. So if you're looking to get your questions answered, it's just not going to come from the TikTok chat, because when we go over the trades, like here, I'm pulling up the next trade. Oops, looks like we already had the next trade up. We already had this next trade up. Let's make sure that we go through these in order. It pulls up the league scoring. And then if you're on Twitch and YouTube over here, you can see the roster of the team submitting the trade. So here we go. 10-team Superflex start 9, 90 players a week rather than I like to play with 120 or more. So a little bit shallower of a league. Full point per reception, half point tight end premium. Are we sending George Kittle and Amon-Ra St. Brown for Carnell Tate, the 109 and a 27 second or 27 first? It's projected to be a late 27 first. The team sending this trade has Carnell Tate. Am I sending Tate, the 109 and a 27 first for Amon-Ra St. Brown and George Kittle? I could be. I could be. This team has Oronde Gadsden. Do they need a tight end in Kittle? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. They have 4 27 firsts. And they look like they're starting to come out of a rebuild. They got Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff. That's enough to contend. Running backs is where things are looking rough. And then wide receivers. I might looking at this team, am I excited to send this deal? Like Mays asking the question. He says, I really like St. Brown, but in trades like this, I think, can I win after this trade? So this team has a lot of 27 first. Let me get my hand in the right spot. So I don't know that they're fully through this rebuild to start taking these first and sending them away for players. Like, I could consider doing this deal with the 109 this year. It looks like they already drafted the 109. Omar Cooper probably is who they took. They used their 109. They got Carnell Tate. They would be sending Tate and Cooper and a 27 first for Amon-Ra St. Brown and Kittle. Like, Tate and the 109 for Amon-Ra St. Brown is about the value, but for this team, does it make you win? Does it get you contending this year? We're sending one of the 24 firsts or one of the 27 firsts that we have, one of the 4 27 firsts. And then if we send 3 more, where does that get us? Like, we would need to send some of them for wide receivers because we would just have Amon-Ra St. Brown, BTJ, Cortland Sutton, Jack Bash in a start 9, we would need more. So we would need to be sending more. I think this team is borderline contending. If you have an extra move afterwards to send George Kittle away and get value for contention, like I don't know why we're bringing George Kittle in on this deal unless we're then taking that value and pairing it with a first to move it for other stuff. If we're able to do that, like there's probably a way to get this team contending this year, but it's going to depend on where we're heading with Kittle. I think the value kind of lines up. So we'll mark that one as like, yeah, the value lines up, but where does it get this specific team? I don't know that this team is fully ready to come out unless they really nail their next couple trades. And this one, bringing in Kittle, needs a follow-up deal for Kittle going out. Well, so the next trade on the board, here it is. It's here, it's there, it's everywhere. It's Jay Buskey in a 12-team Superflex start 10, PPR, no tight end premium. I'm scanning it. I don't see any tight ends, so we're okay. Are we sending Lamar Jackson? So we have some notes on this one. Are we sending away Lamar? The plan is the notes say my plan for 2026 is to tank, stack up 2027 picks, and trade for young wide receiver help. We start 3 wide receivers with 2 flex. I can't compete with my current roster. Let's look at the current roster. You have Lamar, Mahomes, Ty Simpson, Hampton, Henderson, Lemon, Golden, Higgins, Johnston. Oh, my daughter's crying. Not sure if that's coming through on the mic, but something's gone wrong. You have Fannin, Aronde Gadsden. Can you contend with this roster? The team is Mackay Lemonade. I could understand why you may want to pivot out. I don't know that this roster couldn't contend this year in the league that you're in. The total value spread across this league is like 8 teams that all seem like they could contend. Let's go back to the trade. Do we want a 27 first, 28 first, Brian Thomas for Lamar, and then Quentin Johnson gets a little bit of value on top over Troy Franklin? Maybe. Is this the deal that gets us where we want to go? I don't feel great about splitting Lamar this much. I don't feel like splitting Lamar this much. I think I'm just going to stick with Lamar Jackson and look for other deals. Check in with the family. I can't. Can you guys hear the family in the other room? Hey, now they're in this room. All right, let's throw the next trade on the board. Okay, we just keep getting more and more. We're sitting at, we closed that one out. We're at 15 trades in the queue. Erickson K and CHHC. This trade's coming up. I'm checking out the questions in the chat. It looks like just trade questions. If you guys have trade questions, you submit them at our site on TikTok. That's the only spot that we're taking them. We're not reading them live from the chat, because when you submit your trades on the site, we can see the roster of the team submitting that trade on screen, and then we get all of the league settings, etc. That gives us way more context. Like this trade, it's in a 12-team, 1 quarterback start 8. This is a much more shallow league. And when you're in a shallower league compared to a deeper league, all of that value just gets pushed up to the top, to the more valuable guys. So if we're looking at these trades, Erickson is asking Devonta Smith or the 10 and the 104, or Rome Odunze, Jonathan Brooks, and the 102. Okay, the notes here say I don't want to take Lemon at 4, thinking of moving for Tate. I don't think this is a bad deal, moving up for Tate. I really like Devonta Smith. Maybe I'm just a big Devonta Smith believer, but if we're looking at this and saying, like, I don't know that Devonta Smith in multiple years has just outscored Rome Odunze. Maybe we finally get the breakout for Rome, and he's younger. Maybe he starts outscoring Devonta Smith. But I think I'm fine if, like, sending Devonta Smith for Odunze seems pretty fair, and then going from 104 up to 102 and bringing in another player, I think that's fine. I don't think that's crazy. If you like Tate more than Lemon, sure. I like Mekhi Lemon fine, about the same as Carnell Tate. If you really want to call it a big difference, you want your guy, this isn't a bad deal to get you there. We'll call it even. I might just take the Jonathan Brooks side because you get that upside play with Jonathan Brooks. May's saying Brooks might be a guy this year. He totally could be. Like, we don't know that he's not. We don't know that he's not. Lucas, I had missed your chat. I didn't have the chat pulled up. What do you think the floor and ceiling of Justin Jefferson is this year? I mean, the ceiling is he could still be wide receiver 1. He's been wide receiver 1 with middling to good quarterbacks. And if Kyler Murray can do that this year, he could be right back as the best wide receiver in fantasy. Carter, is Josh Jacobs a buy? I don't think so. I don't think so. We dropped a video on Josh Jacobs today with prices where we would get in on Jacobs and prices where we would get out on Jacobs on TikTok. I'm not necessarily going out of my way to acquire him. But in each, I mean, outside of the range listed in the video, I'd say check the TikTok. Next trade going on the board from Rob MC. Let's make sure it goes through. I see it. You see it. Let's talk about it. 12-team Superflex start 9, full point PPR, half point tight end premium. What's the deal? The deal is Nico Collins and Casey Concepcion. How do you actually say that? I'm not sure. Casey Concepcion, maybe. Or Breece Hall and Luther Burden. I think I'm looking at this as like Concepcion for Breece Hall. That's not crazy. That's not that far off. That's about the market for market, even trade. And then I would just rather have Nico Collins than Luther Burden. I think I would just rather have Nico Collins than Luther Burden. He's older for sure. Unless we're trying to get younger and take some shots. Would I do that with Nico Collins? I think I'll just take the production. Which team is the team that we have here? So you can see the team here from Rob. He has Justin Jefferson, Nico Collins, T. Higgins, AJ Brown, Concepcion. Is there a reason to swap to Odunze? He's got Scatterbo and Harvey. So I guess the goal here for him is to bring in another running back. If he's trying to go from Harvey as his second running back, the team has Scatterbo, Harvey. My guess is that's his concern. He has Scatterbo, Harvey, Blake Corum, Chris Rodriguez, and in this deal, he would bring in Breece Hall. There's definitely upside with Luther Burden, and I don't think it's a crazy price to pay. I personally would stay with Nico Collins, but it's within the range where I'd say, yeah, if you wanted to make the swap, go for it. Like, bringing in Breece Hall is good enough. People are really excited on Luther Burden. So even if you aren't, you could probably get similar value at wide receiver by moving Luther Burden and bringing in someone else. So yeah, I'm going to call that one even. I like both sides. I can understand both sides. I really like Nico Collins. And if we're just picking who would I rather have this year, it's probably Nico Collins over Burden. Even though he's much older, I'll just take the production that I have seen multiple times rather than hoping that Luther Burden takes a big step forward. Who's this? John Vera 23. What would you pay for Nico? I'm sure, John Vera, that I have a video on Nico Collins. Let me see if it shows up on the site. I may need to do something on the website to get the videos syncing every single day. Yeah, but if you want to know what I would pay for any player, John Vera, on our site, you can search any player. Here's our website, boombustfantasy.com. There's a search function right here. You can type in any player, Nico Collins, and then it'll pull up their player page, and we have a tab of videos. So it'll sync to our most recent trade video about them. So this one is a newer video on Nico Collins. My values don't swap that much in the off season. So that's what we usually put 3 to 4 trades in a video. Here's what I would think in each one of them. Sergeant Killam says, do you guys do poopy caca, Matthew? No, we don't. We don't. We don't. Let's head back to a couple trades. I see them there. There we go. Okay, I've got all the chats pulled up. Next trade coming in from Johnny Wolfman. Johnny Wolfman asks, in a 12-team Superflex start 8 PPR half-point tight end premium, Rashee Rice or Nico Collins? The notes on the question here says, leaning Rice. My team is on the fence of contending and waiting another year or two. Team is on the fence of contending. You have Nico Collins. Would I move Nico Collins for Rashee Rice? I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would. I could see both sides of it. But Nico Collins is generally just pretty solid. What's he going to be this year? Wide receiver 8 to 14 as a pretty fair guess for the range of outcomes for Nico Collins. Rashee Rice could definitely be better, but we've seen a lot of issues with him in the past couple of years. And the general sentiment with Rashee Rice is there's a good amount of people that just don't want the guy. So if I'm trading for Rashee Rice, I want to pay way lower than Nico Collins. And if in this league, this league is called Dynasty, if Rashee Rice is expensive in this league, that's just the price in that league. And we're not trading for him. I think if I'm trading for Rashee Rice, I'm hitting on the much lower side rather than paying Nico Collins, which is the higher end of the market. And we're sending away a player that has a lot of value and has a lot of production. Like if I'm sending Luther Burden that has a lot of trade value for potential production that we haven't fully seen yet, I'm more willing to do that rather than Nico Collins that's just contending, just helping you contend right now and producing. So I'm staying with Nico Collins. Submit that one through. Make sure that gets done. The trade queue just keeps growing. We're answering questions. More questions are getting added. So we'll get through all of the ones that come in tonight. Let me close this one out and put the next one up. Coming from Jack Weinberg. The trade should be loading up. And I'll do a little bit of housekeeping to make sure that we've cleared out that all the ones that we've covered are marked as done. So the trade queue count looks more accurate. Okay, we'll hit this one from Jack Weinberg, and then we've got one from 5'9 Gemini. They'll go a little bit out of order in the queue that goes across your screen. Here we go. Jack Weinberg, 12-team Superflex, start 10, full PPR, half-point tight end premium. May saying you could take a chance on Kyler here. Let's take a look at the trade. On one side, it's Kyler and Trey McBride, both in very different situations than they were in last year. On the other side, Brock Bowers, DK Metcalf, and a 27th third. So if the deal has a tight end premium and it has Brock Bowers in it, let's say I don't care which side gets a 27th third. So just how do we talk about this deal without a third round pick on it? Are we going from Bowers to Trey McBride to go from DK Metcalf to Kyler Murray? The team already has Kyler Murray. So are we sending Kyler Murray and Trey McBride away to bring in Metcalf and Bowers? I think I might. For the team as listed here from Jack Weinberg, who has Kyler Murray as a third quarterback, I don't think that's a horrible deal. Sending Murray out as your third quarterback, you have Jacoby Brissett, who then becomes third. You are losing out on some upside on Kyler Murray. Like, I like Kyler this year. I'm probably a Kyler buyer, a Kyler believer. But if we just want to up tier from Trey McBride to Brock Bowers, we want to add in another receiver near the tail end of his career, but not massively paying to bring in DK Metcalf. Let's get reminded on DK Metcalf's stats from last year. I assume he was a wide receiver 3. I can't remember every player's finish, but DK Metcalf as a usable player. In PPR scoring, he was wide receiver 26, which is a wide receiver 3, but it's a good wide receiver 3. This team has JSN, Puka, AJ Brown, DJ Moore, Cortland Sutton. We're just adding in DK Metcalf into that mix and then getting the 27th third. So even without considering that third, I think the deal is okay. Then you get a little bit more value on top, kind of pushing you over. I could definitely do it. I think after this year, you'll need another quarterback. I don't know that Jacoby Brissett, no matter what he does, probably isn't starting in 2027. He'll start for the Cardinals this year and then probably gone with them drafting someone else. And he probably goes back to being a backup somewhere else. So that's my thoughts on that one. It's every once in a while we get a slam dunk. May is saying Kyler could be worth a first after the season. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not feeling compelled to make this move. Like it's a clear win. But if you wanted to do the up tier, if you're just viewing, I want to go from McBride to Bowers, I don't think that's a horrible way to do it. We'll load up the trade for 5'9 Gemini. Let's double check that we're not missing anything like Joey Reedy, one-man keeper. I don't cover a lot of keeper questions, Joey Reedy. For a while last offseason, I did do some keeper questions. Like there was a situation, someone said, hey, can you help me with my keeper draft? And he set up a sleeper link. And I said, sure. And I looked at it and it was a draft that wasn't going to snake. It was just a linear draft. You always pick first in your round and very odd settings. And what I found with most people's keeper questions is that they don't tell you any of the settings of the league. And the reason that we take all of our trade questions through our site is because we can see all of the settings of the Dynasty League. For keepers, I often just don't have enough information to answer the question. Jim, Travis Hunter in a Dynasty League with defensive points, where do you think he ranks at wide receiver? I don't cover any IDP questions. I just haven't played with it. Wyatt Brown, any idea why I keep getting internal service error on the site? Cache on your, it could be clearing the cache on your end, Wyatt Brown. We've had some issues with that. I've seen some issues clearing the cache on my end, typically covers it. I haven't had any issues recently. We've nixed most of them. I can check it on mobile. What I've heard from people recently is that if they're getting any issues, it's been on mobile. I'm not seeing any. There's one. The technical version is the site is looking for code by a randomized file name that gets changed. Try it on a private window, but yeah, I'm on my phone on Safari. Yeah, I just got an issue too. So we'll keep trying to work through those. That's what we're looking for as we're doing the show right now, is to make sure that we get all of the issues resolved. In this deal from 5'9 Gemini, 10 team Superflex, half point PPR, full point tight end premium. Are we doing Christian Watson in the 202 or Rashee Rice? I'm just taking Rashee Rice. We had the deal with Rice versus Nico Collins. That one, I would rather have Nico Collins. Here, I kind of like Christian Watson, but I'm just taking the upside of Rashee Rice, especially in a league like this one where it's more shallow. 10 team Superflex start 8. I would rather have the guy that has much higher upside that I think for a longer term compared to Watson. We could definitely be wrong about Christian Watson, a player that has been injured multiple times and then and then looked good in the back half of last year after coming back from injury. I might just be wrong. We might all just be wrong. And Watson's good going forward, that we're going to have like 3 to 4 years of a ton of injuries and then he's fine. That wouldn't be insane, but I'll just take Rashee Rice. I'll just take Rice. And if I have Christian Watson, I'm fine sending the 202 to bring Rice in. Like the 202 barely matters to me here. Let's see. Latte Boy, can you submit a 3-team trade on the site? No. We rarely get requests to handle 3-team trades. And the secret is, Latte Boy, in your league, a 3-team trade affects 3 teams. But for you submitting your trade, there's only 1 team. Every trade has 2 teams, but a lot of what we're looking for here is talking about 1 team. So 2-team trades for us are really just 1-team trades. 3-team trades, also just 1-team trades. So if you wanted to submit a question, Latte Boy, you're sending out players, you're bringing in players. It's just 1 team. The reality of your league is that it will affect 3, but not really. Not really. Not for the unless we're doing like a cameo situation where we're going to take a clip of this video and send it to the league and talk through all of the different teams. But most of the time people just care about their dynasty team and they care about 1 team. Fantasy Hidden Gems, what type of package should I try to get for AJ Brown in Dynasty Superflex? Let's take a look. Well, I'm not really going to take a look. I don't think the value changes much at all. We've covered this a couple times. Fantasy Hidden Gems on our site. Let's go to the browser. You can check out, make sure I'm showing the right window. Like here we looked at Nico Collins. Someone asked a similar question. If you want to know where we are on a player, you can search out that player. Let me make sure. You should just be able to search for AJ Brown. And hopefully we have some recent videos. Yeah. Here's the most recent video that we made on AJ Brown. I'm almost positive in this video, I specifically say we think he's going to be traded to the Patriots and that I don't care if he's on the Eagles. I don't care if he's on the Patriots. It doesn't actually change his value that much. AJ Brown was great last year on the Eagles. The market's just wrong about the Eagles. So him going to the Patriots kind of just boosts his value to where it should have been. Fizz909, who is we? Is it more than just you? No, it's just a habit that I have to dream bigger and talk about this as though it's more than just me. But someday it will be. Someday it will be. But no, right now it is just me. Now we missed Namflow on Twitch with the follow. Thank you very much. I don't think we're missing anything on the chats. We do have Alex who's aiming in the chat on TikTok, our TikTok mod. What's the beer? It's a Half Acre, Alex. Half Acre from Chicago near my house. It's a local brewery. We're going to fall behind on trade questions today. We got Truth Ertz from the League of Leagues. Ooh, this is a big trade. This is a big trade. I just peeped it. I have not fully read it. Make sure that the display is looking good. I see a non-flow. Let's look at this trade, and then we'll talk through any questions in the chat. Well, hold up. We got a Prime sub. CMG, subscribe with Prime. They've subscribed for 2 months. Thank you, CMG. I'm not hearing the noise in my ear. Maybe I don't have the alerts set up for Twitch, but thank you very much for the Prime sub on Twitch. This trade, Truth Ertz, 12-team Superflex, start 10. Full PPR, half-point tight end premium. The 101 or, oh my, Trey McBride, the 108 and the 109. May's saying that's a lot for Love. CMG, that's easily McBride for me. Some of these deals, sometimes we get easy ones. I feel like, see, as someone running the show and talking through the show, I do start to feel bad when I don't have a clear winner in the deal. There are times where I think trades are more often pretty close compared to the market, or maybe not the market, maybe just the general fantasy community. People often say who won, and the answer is like no one. Nobody won. So when people ask like who won the trade, my answer is typically no one won. But in this deal, I'm taking the Trey McBride side. I'm taking the Trey McBride side. I don't want to just blow over this trade, but it's so much. There is a tight end premium. Trey McBride is probably going to be a very, very late first or early to mid second round pick in any sort of dynasty startup using these settings. On TikTok, they're showing down here. On Twitch and YouTube, they're showing over here. And with this roster here, you have Jeremiah Love. Like, this is a team coming out of a rebuild. Doesn't look like they're using someone else's pick to get Jeremiah Love. They don't have running backs. I don't care. You're getting so much value in return. Like, unless we're going crazy. Yeah, the 108 and 109 are still good picks in this year's draft. They're not amazing, but they're not really that far off from, I don't know, like what we thought Emeka Egbuka was last year. It worked out with Egbuka. It's not going to work out for sure at the 108 and 109, but they're still good picks. The 2026 draft class is weaker, but that doesn't make good players bad. It just means there's only 8, 9, 10 good picks. So if you get those good picks, they're still good. Picking at 112 and looking at the players and saying these guys kind of stink doesn't make Jeremiah Love worse. Just for example, and then you can run that same process. Well, it doesn't make Jeremiah Love worse. It doesn't make Carnell Tate worse. It doesn't make Lemon, Tyson, Jadarian Price, these other guys worse. So at 108, 109, that's where we get to the cutoff. So I'm fine with taking 108, 109 and Trey McBride for any sort of team and saying you're getting so much that you can just make follow-up deals and come out ahead more. So I feel like we didn't blow over that one. Made sure to talk it through quite a bit. CMG saying McBride, Sadiq, and Stowers and run that tight end premium. You could. You can also just trade those picks. You can also trade McBride. This is a team that is coming at, like, ugh. I've glanced at some of the team. We're not in a full team review. Like, it's not a great team. So having Jeremiah Love is probably not going to make this team contend. We're probably taking these picks, even if we took the 108, 109 and just traded them for 27 firsts, we'd be looking at sending the 101 for Trey McBride, which is about even, and then getting 227 firsts on top. If we just took like not that great of a deal and sent 108 and 109 for 2 different 27 firsts. That's all that you can get that pretty easily in your leagues. I've seen multiple different leagues where people just said, I don't know, 109, give me a 27 first and call it done. You could probably get more than a 27 first in some leagues. So I'll if I'm in a rebuild that isn't going to contend with Jeremiah Love, like, let's trade him and get a haul. I'm talking too much. We're falling behind. We're falling behind, or more people like my advice, which I don't understand. We're just out here yapping. This trade comes in. I think I said I would cover that trade and then check out the chat. Like Nami Flow saying, oh, you were the guy that submitted Rice for Nico. What should I look for to get tearing off from Nico? I don't know. I don't have that one pulled up in front of me. Are we looking to tear off from Nico? I mean, he's kind of going cheap. I think right now, with the hype that people have with the 2027 class, someone like Nico Collins is a little bit just undervalued. You should be getting more than just one future first, but because people have already decided that 2027 can't go wrong or is going to be amazing and that we are going to pay for it now rather than past years where the picks go up in value over the year, I don't know that I'm necessarily looking to tear off of Nico Collins. We got a follow from Sansu Cis 91. That is very small on my screen and is not letters in a pattern I'm used to seeing. But thank you for the follow very much. I just don't know how to say it. Wyatt Brown saying Cubs guy. Yes. Do we have Cubs gear out here? I don't have any Cubs gear out here. The friendly exchange with the heart me. Thank you very much. Not seeing any Cubs. Oh. That's where. Yeah, Cubs guy. Go Cubs go. Well, exactly, Wyatt. I was wondering, how many leagues am I in personally? the friendly exchange. We'll take a look at this trade. I threw it up on the screen. We will, but we'll clear out the chats first or make sure we're not missing anything. Like CMG, keep grinding, goat. Thank you, boss. Friendly exchange. How many fantasy leagues am I in personally? We're going to add more. We are I'm just now. Let's pull this. Let's do 2 birds, 1 stone here. You can get a start to see. I'll tell you, and we'll talk it through because it's been a minute since we've done a demo. Let's go through a demo. How are you guys seeing this? Here. Oh, that's why. Ah, shoot. I just messed this up. Okay. Here's what I meant to do right here. I meant to go to profile on this browser and log out. I'm logged in on a lot of different browsers, so let me log back in over here so I can keep running the show. Okay, here's how many, we'll go through, here's how many leagues I'm in, which we will see on the site. If you guys are looking to submit your trades into the queue, we've had a lot of people get their trades into the queue. It's very easy to do. Here's our website, boombustfantasy.com. It's the same as the name on TikTok, the same on Twitch, YouTube, the same name, boombustfantasy.com. It's very easy to get your trade submitted into the show right now. You come to our website. Here's the homepage. You just hit get started. You can also click log in. You can hit get started. If you've ever seen these, this is just programmer talk. If you've ever seen these buttons, like continue with Google, they will do your sign in or your create account. It's all just one button. So if you've ever seen someone say log in or register, it's doing the exact same thing. To make your account, it is one click. You just hit continue with Google. Because I'm using Chrome where I'm already logged in, it just went through and made the account. And actually for the demo, I needed to delete the account so I can show you the account creation process. We missed that step. Here's what it would look like. You click continue with Google. I just deleted my account with one button. It has made that account, and now you sync your sleeper leagues. You just type in your sleeper username and it will pull every league you're in. Someone asked, how many leagues am I in? I'm in this many right now. What's this, 5x4, 20 Dynasty leagues? Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 4 across. And it might be more. So currently this many Dynasty leagues. We are going to be starting more Dynasty leagues. We had 9 Boom Bust leagues last offseason. The final one just covered their rookie draft. That is the final rookie draft of all the leagues I'm currently in. So I will be starting more startups for the offseason. The friendly exchange, how many leagues you're in? This many. But for the friendly exchange, if you've watched the videos on TikTok, here's another site feature. So here you go. When you're making your account, you select the current league that you want the site to be using, and that's just the team that it will show. So here we go. On our site, you can also connect it to Discord, where it will post your trade questions to our Discord with your league settings for the demo. I always skip it. Here's one of the things for like the friendly exchange. You've always wondered how many leagues I'm in. The videos that we do covering trades just come from our trade database. So behind the scenes of the site, we also, for everyone that has connected their account, we've pulled all of their leagues. We've gone through the members of those leagues, pulled all of their leagues. So we have a trade database of hundreds of thousands of Dynasty trades that have happened this off season. So when we're making our videos about real trades that are happening, one of the features of the site is if you click on any of your players and click this trades tab, it will show you real trades happening using your league's scoring. So I have a set scoring that I use for the videos that I make. And then I'm pulling trades from our database and looking at them and saying, can I find other trades that corroborate this level of value? And then those go into the video. But if you're ever just looking for what are real trades happening with your players on the site, you can go to my team, click on any player like we just did with Jonathan Taylor. It'll use the settings of the league that you have selected, and it will pull real trades from our database that have happened. Every trade is a trade that's 2 people decided to make in their league. So we have, with Jonathan Taylor, 873 trades using this setup of scoring just since the start of the year. So it'll pull those and show them for the database. And then we'll add in more features. One of the things I do for the TikTok videos is I limit any trade that we're talking about down from here. You'll never hear me talk about Jonathan Taylor for 5 different pieces with Josh Allen in there, because then it's hard to pick out the value of the one player. I try to limit that down so that we can isolate the value of one player. So someone asked how many leagues we're in. I feel like we just talked through 100 different questions. Let's get back to trades because I'm starting to get distracted. Here we go. We had this trade. Let's throw it back up on the board. During that process, I accidentally logged out. Let me get back in there and get the trade back on the board. Someone had said they were sticking with, where was it? They were sticking with one of the sides. I don't recall. Was it the Justin Jefferson side? Let's take a look. Here's a trade involving Justin Jefferson from Reese in a 10-team Superflex start 8. Thank you for the exchange for the crane. Team Danny for the follow. Let's talk the trade. Thank you very much. 10-team Superflex start 8. If you have Justin Jefferson and the person sending in this trade has Justin Jefferson, if you're watching on Twitch and YouTube, you can see their whole team. TikTok is where we get the most viewers, but I can only put so many things on the screen. So on Twitch and YouTube, we can see Reese's team. He has Justin Jefferson, and in this trade, is he getting enough with the 102 and Devonta Smith? Is he getting enough? Because that's the notes that he added. If this isn't enough, what else should I be looking to get back? With the team that we have here, Jaden Daniels, Justin Herbert, we're probably contending with our quarterbacks. Hampton, Hall, Trevion Henderson, Charbonnet, like that's probably enough running backs. CMG, he's getting enough if it wasn't a start 8, which is what I probably thought it would be. Like in a 12-team start 10, where you're starting 140 compared to this league, 10-team start 8. Like in a deeper league, you're getting enough, kind of, and I still wouldn't really want to do it here because if Justin Jefferson bounces back, he's worth so much. I don't think you're getting enough here because you only have to start 80 players. The difference between 120 players in a weekly lineup compared to 80, that's 40 players just that don't need value. Like it spreads out to bench players and so on, but all of that value gets pushed up to Justin Jefferson, to Josh Allen, to all of these higher tier players. They just get all of that value, and Devonta Smith is less valuable. I really like Carnell Tate and Devonta Smith here, but you would just need more in this deal. And if I'm sending Justin Jefferson, if I'm sending the best piece, I also, in a lot of deals, want to be getting paid out on the worst piece. Oh, thank you for the hat and mustache. For the Twitch and YouTube people who just saw me point at my head, TikTok puts a hat and mustache on. Thank you very much for that. So like if I'm in a 10-team start 8 and I'm sending Justin Jefferson away, I kind of also want to send away on this team. Like, can I just get a bunch? Can I get a lot for Matthew Golden and just build in a reroll on that deal? I'd be looking to get much, much more than just the 102 and Devonta Smith in a league as shallow as 10-team start 8. So I'm sticking with Justin Jefferson here. Because I also think he's going to bounce back. Maybe not everyone agrees on that. Oh my gosh. All right, let me hit refresh and get a real up-to-date. We're at 20. Thug Shaking 420, first time chatter on Twitch. Thank you very much. And a follow from Biden is your dad now on Twitch. Thank you. Thank you for the follow. We'll read the names mostly. Here we go. Puka Nacua is the next trade. Puka Nacua from Tyler in a 10-team Superflex start 10. Again, you're only starting 100 players. It's not as shallow as the 80 that we just went to. Non-flow saying Puka all day. This one's also Puka all day. So because we just talked about the value gets pushed up, Puka becomes more valuable. You would have to give up more to get him. I like Carnell Tate. I like Christian McCaffrey. I don't think we're getting enough value. I don't think we're getting enough production in this deal. It's a full point PPR here, which is also going to benefit someone like Puka, who gets a lot of targets, a lot of receptions. I'm sticking with Puka. And the trade here comes from the person who has Puka, at least as of when this trade was submitted, or as of right now. I'm not moving Puka for just that in a 10 by 10. I would need quite a bit more. Namflo saying Puka all day, love Tate, but Puka's a top 3 receiver in Dynasty. Maybe 4. CMG, he's my number 2. Here's like, let's take this trade and just phrase it in a different way. If Carnell Tate is excellent and he's like Malik Neighbors level of value, aren't we still saying we want the Puka side? Like, even if Tate is great, we're not getting enough here. And there's always a chance that with a rookie, like, it doesn't happen in year 1. So even if it was Neighbors and McCaffrey, I'd still probably lean Puka in a league like that. In a deeper league, we start to swap it out and we'll take the production and look at more of that. But just like this, I don't think we're getting enough. CMG, you would take Neighbors in CMC. In a 10 by 10, I might still hold Puka. If it's a 12 by 10, then I would be open to the other side. All right, Maze. Do we have Maze here? He's been here during the day, during the stream. I assume he's here. Otherwise, he can catch this on the replay. We got to catch up. Maze is here on YouTube. Thank you for being here. In Big Jumbo Dynasty, very good name for a league. 12-team Superflex, start 10, no tight end premium. Chase Brown in a second, or DeAndre Swift and Nick Singleton? You're the Swift and Singleton side, is the notes. Looking to compete this year and potentially add 2028 with my aging players. I'm taking Chase Brown here. I'm taking Chase Brown here. With here this trade will just become my thoughts on Nick Singleton. It's possible. It's always possible a day 3 pick breaks out for their team and becomes the lead guy. This is a trade involving Chase Brown. That was Chase Brown's story. He was a 5th round pick out of Illinois to the Bengals. I think I have that right. He's definitely from Illinois, the school. I know he plays on the Bengals. That part, I know I have it right. And I think he was a 5th round pick. And often with day 3 picks, round 4, 5, 6, 7, it doesn't work out at running back. But it has with Chase Brown. It's been shown multiple times over. We don't know that it will with Nick Singleton. Do I have it right? Singleton is on the Titans. Singleton is the Penn State running back that went to the Titans, and then they have another one that went to the Commies. Singleton was the lead guy, Katron Allen behind him. And Josh saying he's Canadian. I did know that part as well. Maze, if I have to move a 3rd rounder, would it matter? No. I like DeAndre Swift. Even if I, looking at this deal, had to throw Swift, Singleton, and a 3rd to get to Chase in a 2nd, that's fine. I would probably do this deal without getting, if I was just doing Swift and Singleton, I'd be fine just getting Chase Brown and not getting a 2nd back on there. I would just much rather have the Chase Brown side. He might be, is it that he was a slightly older prospect? I'll add in the ages on the site here. Let me pull his age. Is he younger than 26? He's 26 years old right now, and he just turned that in March. So he'll play this year at 26. He'll probably get a 2nd contract at some point, but you probably have 2-3 years of Chase Brown. I think I'm just taking Brown on the Bengals. It would surprise me if they didn't re-sign him or he didn't sign somewhere as a starter. And now on the view that I'm looking at right now, I can see Singleton on Tennessee. I just don't want to get Singleton and Katron Allen mixed up between which guy is where. But I think you're fine with a lot of the combinations here. If it's feeling close with Chase Brown and you're just sending Swift and Singleton, I think you're getting way, way better production this year. Namflo, Allen is in Washington. Both went day 3, and they're both from Penn State. I haven't seen that part confirmed, but that's my current memory of it. Nico and Phoebe Armani, if you submit a trade for community and Discord review, will I see it? On the show, like Nico and Phoebe Armani, it does not show the current queue on TikTok. So I'm going to point up, and the TikTok viewers don't see a queue, but we do have a names scrolling on Twitch and YouTube, and we're at 20-ish right now. of the ones that are submitted for the show. So I do see them in the Discord. I don't pull them up for the show. Some of that is just, there's no shortage of trades coming through, of people submitting them into the queue to go for the show. So I don't pull any from the chat and so on. And now I'm Flo saying, yes, both Penn State. Okay. I did get something wrong in a video, and someone left a comment saying it just goes to show you how little research or how little these guys know. And I feel like I know quite a bit, but I was wrong. Sean Tucker did re-sign with the Bucks, and in a video I said that he was gone. Like I did get that one wrong, and I'll own it. Next trade coming up. Non-flow, it's tough. There's a lot of guys to keep track of. I mean, I'm not gonna lean on there's a lot of guys to keep track of. I should just get it all right. I do often say, ooh, I have the wrong thing on Twitch. I'm seeing. I do often, let's go with let me update. I just realized another mistake. I just realized we don't have this says we're playing video games and we're not. So let's update this to show that we're talking sports. The only thing you can do is just own, like, I definitely got it wrong. I got it wrong. I'm one guy. We're trying our best, but I got it wrong. And we'll go forward and we'll get it correct on the next time we talk about Bucky Irving. Do we have this one going on here? Drew Batley, why would the team let me buy a team review credit? Because it's just not launched yet, Drew. We are just one guy. It'll launch in the next 1 to 2 weeks of buying a team review credit, Drew. And then you'll be able to. It's just not built. Sorry. I'm sorry, Drew. That is a heartfelt, Drew. Like I would like this to be ready to go sooner, but I'm just one guy. So we're trying to go as fast as we can while making a product that will always work for you. Jorge, who I missed on Twitch. Are you creating leagues for viewers? Yeah. We're coming out of the final rookie draft from last year's viewer leagues, and we'll open up ones for viewers this summer. Let's talk this trade. Gittle Boat, 12-team Superflex, start 9, half-point PPR, half-point tight end premium. Are we sending Cam Ward a 27 and a 28 first for Jaden Daniels? That's the price. Namflow says, I think you got to keep the picks here. Ward's value is always only going to go up. Like we don't know that. We don't know that. I see you, Mason. We'll cover yours. We don't know that Cam Ward is going to get better and have his value go up. He doesn't run. In one of the videos in the video that came out today's Monday, we talked about like just Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, Jordan Love, these pocket passers that don't run. For Cam Ward, we need him to get like 25 to 30 touchdowns. He's not going to get a lot of value from running. We need 4,000-ish yards for him to be a solid QB2. Is it possible he becomes the next Joe Burrow and is putting up 40 touchdown seasons? I mean, I guess so. But that's what we would need him to be consistently to really say, like, he's the top pocket passer. If he's not going to run, it's hard to push him that high up. On this side here, if we have Jalen Hurts, Cam Ward, this is the price to get to Jaden Daniels. I don't think we're overpaying, but should this team pay it? We've got the roster pulled up here on Twitch and YouTube. If you're watching on TikTok, there's just not enough room on the screen to put the full roster, but we do have the roster of the team submitting this question. They are the Cam Ward side. Are we sending with this team? We've got Achane, Barkley, Scatabo. So like we can get by for the next couple of years as Saquon retires if we don't have these picks. Malik Neighbors, T. Higgins, Jameson Williams, Michael Wilson is starting to get rough at wide receiver. And then tight ends of Tucker Kraft and George Kittle with the tight end premium. Like you're probably starting both of those guys once they're healthy. This is kind of an all-in push. And I'd say I don't think we're getting a great enough deal to do it. Like it is the price. Like if you go to the store and if you go to the car dealership, the cars cost that price. That is the price. Like sometimes you just get the right deal, but not everyone should go buy it. I could go find a house where I'm paying the market rate and I'm getting a good price, but my family can't afford it. And this team doesn't seem like it can really afford this much of a deal. It doesn't seem like we're going to hit at a high enough rate of winning the championship to push a 27 first and a 28 first to up tier from Cam Ward here. Like it's not a move I would make, but it is the right value, which is why we pull up the teams involved in the trades. Because if someone just submitted this question, which side would you rather have? Like, I guess Jaden Daniels. And maybe we trade to Jaden Daniels. And if this is a league that trades enough, you could trade up to Daniels and then down tier and come away with a better fitted team. But I might just hold the picks or try to find different deals. I don't know that this is one that I would do unless I knew for sure, like we're getting trade offers every hour and we can then move off of Jaden Daniels and down tier and get better players and picks in the future. But for this one, like it's the even price, but I'm going to stick with where we're at with Ward and our own first round picks. All right, Mason was saying AJ Brown trade value. If you want to know what AJ Brown is going for in trades, we do show that on our site. We'll swap to that view. Let's clear out the overlay so you can see the site for any player, Mason, on our website. Once you've created your account, you can just go to your team. If you want to know AJ Brown's current trade value, here's the closest player that I have on the team that I have here. You can go to any player, go to their player page and just click trades. It's going to pull the league settings that is of your league, Mason, and it'll just show you real trades that have happened with that league. So here, for example, here's Devonta Smith. Here are real trades involving Devonta Smith from today. We're pulling new trades all the time. I just have a program running, pulling new trades. So you would just come to the search bar, search for AJ Brown, and then here's the trades tab. What I will also say, Mason, is the values in the most recent trades video, which you can also just see on the videos tab for the daily shorts that we do. The videos from this most recent video with AJ Brown are not any different to me. Him being on the Patriots, I already liked him on the Eagles. He was a top 12 receiver last year. He's probably going to be somewhere between, I don't know, wide receiver 6 and 14 this year, depending on how things go for the Eagles. I already liked him quite a bit. This doesn't really change my trade value for him. I think people were just low. Like the trade market for AJ Brown was just always kind of a little weird. People are low on Eagles because they didn't win the Super Bowl last year and took a step backwards without their offensive coordinator, but they're changing things this year and we could see them get back to much better production. And for a long time, people thought AJ Brown was going to get traded to the Patriots and had been treating him as such anyway. So when he actually gets traded, the thing that we thought would happen happened. We were already pricing him that way. So there isn't actually that much of a difference here. And I'm almost positive in this video that I just said, AJ Brown is probably going to get traded to the Patriots. People are treating him as though he already has been. That's what these trades show. And then I think I just talk about some real trades that happened with those prices. So we try to get ahead of the market where we can sometimes. Let's take a look. We covered this one. Here's the next trade from Snapshots. Came in an hour ago. We've been going for an hour and 10 minutes. Hopefully we can clear the queue out tonight. Hopefully. And then Drew, I see yours about your trade is next. It's already accepted, just not processed. I think we gave opinions. I don't know. Is this the one? Are you Drew, are you Snapshots? I'm not positive. Well, let's just talk about this. Namflow winter team reviews coming. Let's cover this right after the trade. Snapshots, 12 team Superflex, start 10, PPR. Caleb Williams and Lat McConkey on one side. And this deal has already been accepted, just not processed. So this is I'm looking at your team. Your team is up on the screen. You're trading for, like you are getting Caleb Williams and you have Trevor Lawrence currently. You're sending Trevor and bringing in Caleb. Let me know if I have that wrong. Would I send Trevor Lawrence for Caleb? I think they're pretty similar. You get a younger guy with Caleb. It wouldn't surprise me if Caleb Williams' career followed Trevor Lawrence's. We do get more value from Caleb with a little bit more running. You get a little bit of running with Trevor Lawrence. You can get a little bit more with Caleb. I think Mays is in YouTube chat is asking the question I'm kind of starting to talk through. How much of an upgrade is Williams over Trevor Lawrence? I think they were QB like 4 and 5 last year. So very little, just age. Would I rather have Garrett Wilson or Ladd McConkey? I might have stayed with the Trevor Lawrence side here. One of the things that I mention in the daily trade videos quite a bit is just play the quarterback ladder. Everybody's going to have different rankings of quarterbacks going into the year. It's one of the harder things to predict because touchdowns are pretty fluky. And usually I'll just bounce around that ladder and go up and down here. Like Drew in the chat saying, I think Williams is a lot more valuable than Lawrence. Just feels like Lawrence has peaked. Yeah, I think if we're just using value, and I'll put it in air quotes, but just meaning like market value, I think more people would rather have Caleb Williams, and that means something in June. I personally probably would have stayed with Trevor Lawrence. I don't know that you're going nuts on this one. Like I don't think it's a horrible deal. I probably just would have stayed with Trevor Lawrence, because then some of that is with the Lawrence side, because I like Garrett Wilson. I also like Ladd McConkey to break out. Someone in chat saying you also like pairing Loveland with Caleb, or Drew is saying that. Like, I don't think you made a horrible deal here. I don't know that I would have made it, but this is not one where I would have looked at it. If this came across my league chat, I wouldn't have thought either side was dumb. I would have thought like, yeah, sure. Biden is your dad now. Caleb is a bum. Dude scrambles for no reason. Yeah, I think he does scramble a little bit more than he needs to. Does that make him a bum? Man, I don't know about that. What do I think of your team? What do I think of the team? Who was it who had asked on this question? Because I said I would do it right after the trade. Oh, Nonflow, when are team reviews coming? So we have the ability, let's go through the site. Wrong spot. Here we go. When are team reviews coming? Like the next 1 to 2 weeks. What's today? June 1st. I want to have them live probably next week, Monday or Wednesday. We'll start doing team reviews, and we'll turn on the ability to buy team review credits and submit your team for review. And then we'll cover those on the live show. It's just hard to continuously do team reviews right now, where we just need to build out the payment processing to get them done. And it's something that multiple different sources and sites all charge quite a lot for. We're going to come in on the low end of the market on team reviews, and they'll launch in June. It is June right now, but 1 week, 1 to 1.5 weeks. So we have done some of them. Oh, here's the Chase Brown. We have done some of them on the shows. We actually end up doing more of them on Wednesdays. Just the nature of, we've been doing shows on Mondays and Wednesdays, and there's a lot more time between a Wednesday to the next Monday that trades stack up. So we have barely made a dent on the trade queue. It's just gotten longer as the show's been going on. So that's, some of that is just calling it as things go on. Like Alex posting trade questions in the TikTok chat. We just don't take any from the TikTok chat, Alex. We take all our trades on the site. May saying we have a busy stream today. That's true. We take all of our trade questions through the site because it allows us to build out stuff like this. Like here, Leo Map sent in their trade. They're in a 10-team Superflex, start 10 PPR, half point, tight end premium. All of this stuff gets built and managed live by our website for the overlays that you see live, which is why we don't pull them from the chat, because I can't quickly take this stuff from a chat message and put it on the screen, and we don't always get all the information. If you're watching on TikTok, where we get the most viewers, thank you. If you're on Twitch and YouTube, you can see the team of the person who submitted this question. Let's talk through it. Leo, Are they the Devonta Smith side? Yes. They have Devonta Smith. We're looking at sending Smith, Likely, and Jalen Warren for Bucky Irving and Josh Jacobs. Smith, Likely, and Jalen Warren for Bucky Irving and Josh Jacobs. Namflo was saying this team has no need for those running backs. And I think it's just because I don't know what's going to happen with Josh Jacobs. I don't love the deal. And this one came through since news has broken. Am I just behind on everything that's happening with Josh Jacobs? Fantasy Wheezy says try to get a tier up for price. I think he's just talking about a different deal. I'll ignore that chat. What are we feeling on this deal? Are we sending, like, I don't know that the prices here are really lining up. Like, I like Bucky Irving. Am I sending Devonta Smith for Bucky Irving? It's pretty close. It's close enough that when we look at this and say Likely and Jalen Warren for Josh Jacobs, I don't know that I'm doing it. Carlitos, it's right here for your question. Am I missing something on Josh Jacobs? With stuff like this, that news can come out at any moment and drastically change the player's value, I don't think I'm going to be bringing him in. I'm going to get a live update on top stories are saying dispatch audio reveals what was heard inside the house. Packers rumors, are there any running back trade plans after Josh Jacobs from 6 hours ago? I mean, I'll just show you guys what I'm looking at. Packers had a quiet offseason until Josh Jacobs headlines 2 days ago, arrested on domestic abuse charges. Have I been missing parts of this story that it seems like he's not? Nami Flo, Josh Jacobs beat his, that part I knew. Nami Flo, that Josh Jacobs was arrested for domestic violence. If that's the news I'm looking for, is there any follow-ups? Last offseason, Xavier Worthy was involved in some legal issue, and then within a week or two, news came out that it was all not going forward, which is just not me giving any sort of actual context to what happened or knowing what happened. There is always a possibility that something comes out, like Nico saying charges was dropped due to lack of evidence, I believe. I'm not seeing that here, but that doesn't mean it's not true. May saying hard to imagine the league not letting him play. And Namflo saying nothing since the arrest. Like, I don't personally, this is one where we'll pull the trade back up. I don't personally look to jump into these situations. So for me, I'm not really looking to acquire Josh Jacobs, even in a deal like this, where if no news had come out, let's just talk about it this way. If nothing had ever come out about Josh Jacobs, this deal would be even to me. I'd say Smith, Likely, and Warren traded for Bucky Irving and Josh Jacobs. I'd call that fine, and I probably would take the Bucky Irving side. And then for this team with Genty, James Cook, Jalen Warren, I'd probably just rather have Devonta Smith and look for some other deal. So we won't go forward on that one. I'm sticking with Smith here, but that can all change pretty quickly with any news blurb. All right, next trade from Meaners. 12-team Superflex start 9. Okay, here's the deal. I just kind of mindlessly said, as I read, here's my thought process as this came onto my screen. I see one player for 5. So are we sending Bucky or Amari and Hampton for a bunch of junk? Kinda. This is really just Omari and Hampton for Bucky Irving and a first-round pick, which is about the price. If I'm sending Bucky Irving, am I fine with sending Irving? This team has 3 firsts. Like, we're paying kind of the full price for Hampton here. To go from Bucky Irving up to Amari and Hampton, it's probably going to cost you a first-round pick. Am I doing it all the time? Fantasy Wheezy, not a huge Hampton guy, but this is Hampton. I don't care about Jalen Noel. I don't care about Damon Claiborne. I don't care about a 28 third. I could probably just take the Hampton side here. I don't know that we're getting a smash win. Like, would I move Bucky Irving at a first for Amari and Hampton? I kind of just like Bucky Irving. Would I move a player similar value currently in the market to Bucky Irving and a first for Hampton? Yeah. And none of these other players in this deal really matter to me. Jalen Noel, Damon Claiborne, a third. They don't really matter. Could you come away with a first round pick and a better running back? Yeah, probably. So I think I'm just going to mark this one as even and say, like, for this team, I could send Bucky Irving in the first for an up tier. I don't know that I necessarily would. I might just take a first round pick and add to Bucky Irving for the team that's here. If we have 3 firsts, a second, multiple thirds, Woody Marks as a second running back, I might just take the first round pick and add in like Kyron Williams. Let's see. Namflo is actually saying the team needs a lot. I was really only looking at running backs. Does the team need a lot? Yeah, the team needs a ton. I'm just holding the picks. I'm holding the picks. Thank you, Namflo, for telling me I should actually just check. Is this team really, really rough? Yeah. We've got 3 future firsts. I'm not going to cash them in to go up from Bucky Irving to. Okay. Let's. We've looked at the team. The trade as it is, even. Should this team do it? No. This would end up just being like a pretty classic sell low on Bucky Irving to get buy high on Hampton and sell low on Bucky Irving for a team that is not contending this year. So let's hold Irving, see if we can get a bounce back, or otherwise these first round picks will just gain a little bit more value throughout the year. I'm not doing that deal. Oh, holy. Okay. So a message came through the chat. Should be managed. Should be done. Next trade coming up. It's an AJ Brown trade. Oh, Yayo, you sold Hampton. Okay. You just put it in. Oh, the trade like has gone through. Okay. Makes sense. Let's talk on this trade. Kareem Spies. Are we sending AJ Brown for a projected late 27 first? I'm looking at the team here. Laporta Potty is the team. Is this just not entered correctly? Or are we sending our own? Let's see, Namflo. I'd keep the first. This team needs a lot. Go get Jeremiah Smith. Actually, I don't know. The team is so stacked. Okay, let's take a look at this team. Laporta Potty, because I think the value is like fine. A random 27 first for AJ Brown. You see that happening a lot. Today's news doesn't really change that. If people think they should get a little bit more or they start giving more for AJ Brown, like, yeah, then take them more. But a first round pick for a 29-year-old receiver who's probably going to give you 2 to 3 more years of pretty good production, and we ride that out. Like, yeah. So here for Laporta Potty, are we sending a first round pick? Like, we have Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Brock Purdy in a super flex league, Bijan, James Cook, Derrick Henry, Dobbins is pretty good. JSN, Tet, Pickens, Devonta Smith, adding in AJ Brown. We have Laporta and George Kittle. Like, yeah, I don't think we're overpaying. I don't think it's crazy. Can we send our future first and get something better? I don't know that you are going to get that much better. I don't hate this deal. Other than the obvious, like, yes, you could probably get a lot of things for your first round pick. You think it's probably, the notes here say it's probably the 112. We don't know that. We don't know. We don't know. You have a very good team, like a good neighbor also has a ton of value. Theirs is all in 2027, but they could convert it into value for this year. The team looks really good. Herbie Fully Torqued, cool name. They also have a really solid team. I'm just looking at currently at like values. I'm not seeing your team as miles ahead on total value. Wheezy saying need a little bit more for AJ Brown. That's about the price of a contending team. Their first round pick for AJ Brown. I don't think that's insane. Like, I don't think we're overpaying here. And I don't think we're really, nothing about the news today really changes this all that much for me. I'm pretty sure I was saying 27 first for AJ Brown is about right before he was traded, expecting that he would be traded. And now that he's traded, this is still about the price. Let's see. Tis your dad. I think pretty sure is the next one coming up. We covered Leo map. Let me just do a bit of housekeeping to get this one over there. Cam De Silva, could you get a team review? Not today because we're way behind on trades. What did we say on this one? Did we skip Leo map? Okay, I think let's just throw this one up here. Looks like we had one from Leo before. Let's cover this. AJ Brown for the 110. Bucky Irving for Christian McCaffrey is the deal. 10-team super flex, start 10. Make sure that's all on your screen. Which side of this are we taking? Actually, this is feeling closer to AJ Brown for Christian McCaffrey, even. Bucky Irving for the 110, kind of even. I might say Bucky Irving is worth more than the 110. The notes here, did this trade late April, expecting AJ Brown to get traded? Good value or not, in your opinion? Right off the rip, I don't know exactly which side I want. So like we were saying earlier in the show, sometimes I just look at a trade and say like, yeah, this is fine. I don't see a winner on either side. We can talk a bit more about it. You now have AJ Brown. You sent McCaffrey in the 110 and you have Bucky. It looks like you don't even have Bucky Irving anymore. Do we move on from Bucky Irving? I think this is fine. As I'm looking at the team here for Laddies and Gentlemen on Leo Map's team, they now have AJ Brown. They no longer have Bucky Irving. You guys can check out the roster here. Like the roster looks fine. So moving on from the 110, moved on from McCaffrey, but we have Ashton Genty, James Cook, and then we can find a solid third option. I don't see any issues on this trade. I don't see any issues. I think I'm happy with where this team is with AJ Brown. Let's make sure that, okay, now we're on to Tis your dad. I traded for Bryce, didn't need to, but quarterbacks are valuable. When you get to me, okay, Biden is your dad is the person. Biden is your dad now is the person in Twitch chat. Tis your dad. A lot of dad chat from this dude. How are we feeling on this deal? Denzel Boston and a 27 second for Bryce Young. I would take the Bryce Young side. LMFAO, my bad. It's a lot of dad chat. There's nothing wrong with it. So let's go through this one. Ooh, it's a 12-team Superflex start 11. You moved on from a future second and probably the 112, 111 range pick that you spent on Denzel Boston, who could be something for the Browns. Like we have to say, people thought Denzel Boston was a borderline first round talent. The Browns end up picking him up in the early second. They grabbed another wide receiver. These guys, how many real life NFL picks apart were Concepcion and Denzel Boston taken? 15 to 20? 15 to 20. I don't have the draft memorized, but pretty close. And teams are going to look at that and say like, yeah, we like Concepcion a little bit more, but there's a shot Boston is better. they thought Concepcion was better. They drafted him first, but I would guess the Browns are looking at these and saying, we either have a role picked for each of these guys, or they're going to be competing quite a bit in camp, which is just me talking quite a bit to say, like, I think I'm still taking Bryce Young. I think you can, with what you have here, you didn't overpay to consolidate your assets. You're sending a 27 second, which often is like pretty hit or miss, into something that has solid value. There's not really a hit or miss for Bryce Young. It's just kind of, he's a QB2, and this is the price for him. So there's a good chance you could end up moving Bryce Young and maybe something to get a 27 first, or just move Bryce Young for a 28 first. And I don't know that you could do that with Boston and a second. So I'll take the Bryce Young side. He's your third quarterback. You have Malik Willis. You don't need him to be your quarterback. Namflo is saying this feels cheap for Young, and that's kind of where I'm leaning. Like, you can make a follow-up deal here, and it'll look more and more ridiculous as you move on from Bryce Young. The deal of sending Boston in a second for what you end up with after moving Young, I think will feel pretty good. Or you just have Bryce Young and you move someone else. Wags just submitted a trade. How far behind are you? So Wags is in the TikTok chat. We just don't have as much or as many graphics on the TikTok feed. Let's take a look at where we are, though. If you just submitted it, I'm going to hit refresh. We have 19 in the queue. We started with 13. We've just been getting a lot of questions today. We have the queue on TikTok, or excuse me, on Twitch and YouTube, where you can also see the roster of the person who submitted any trade that we have. There's just not enough screen on TikTok. We'll get to the next trade and we'll see how long we can go. At some point, I do need to give the room back to my wife, and I can only say so many words before my voice stops working. So let's get moving. Mason Bell in an 8-team, 1 quarterback, start 8. So we start 64 players a week. It's a very shallow league. The deal is Jackson Dart and the 106, or Golden Judkins and a 4th. CMG is saying Dart with ease. I don't know that it is, because it's that 1 quarterback setup. Like, you only have to start 8 quarterbacks in this league. Can we think of 8 quarterbacks we would much rather have? Mason Bell has Jackson Dart. They could just be starting Bo Nix, who kind of does the same thing. If we realistically, do we know exactly who's going to outscore who, Dart or Bo Nix this year? I don't think we know. And I would view them to kind of hit the same range. Namflo is saying easily Dart. We're setting Dart in the 106. Like, I think just because it's not super flex. Judkins sits on the bench for this team, but you can still always move the player. You have Gibbs and Hampton, Ken Walker, Javonte Williams. Should we move Dart for... This isn't a bad team. Should we move Jackson Dart to bring in another player who... You have the 106? Okay, I do see the 106 now showing up for you. Let's take a look. I mean, who are we getting at 106 for this team? No one? Not Jadarian Price, like Casey Concepcion? Concepcion, because it's a 1 quarterback league. I feel like this team is weak at quarterback, which is Dart and Bo Nix, who are borderline top 8. I don't think either one of these guys is top 8 this year. I might try to just up tier at quarterback. Like, Dart for Judkins doesn't seem insane. I think I would rather have Judkins than Dart, but then the 106 for... I think I'm sticking with Dart in the 106 and making other deals. Sticking with Dart. I couldn't talk myself out of it. Biden is saying Dart is overhyped. I might agree on that too. But he still had, like, still value right now. All right, Z Pivy, 10-team Superflex, start 11. We're starting 110 players. Is that math? I think so. 110 players a week. Superflex, Here's the notes. I traded away Derrick Henry and Caleb Johnson here. Henry is aging. You wanted depth on my bench. Thoughts on this trade? Okay, Z Pivy. We have 2 QB spots and a super flex. I've never seen that. You can start 3 quarterbacks in this league, Z Pivy? You can start 10 team with 3 quarterbacks. Okay. This is why trade questions are free. This is why we might not end up getting to all of them. I don't know. We're not looking at any quarterbacks in this trade. My guess is I just want Derrick Henry here. I think so I've never seen this where you can start 3 quarterbacks. So 2, the site is not set up to show that it's 2 QB and a super flex on top, because I just never thought anyone would have that. And that'll change up values a bunch, because like a player like we were just talking about with Bryce Young in one of the few trades ago, it becomes even way more valuable. I think I just want Derrick Henry here. If we're just talking like super flex leagues, Derrick Henry or Josh Downs and Chuba Hubbard, if I'm contending at all, I would rather just have Derrick Henry. I'm not feeling great about Chuba. He's younger than Henry. I don't know how much more he actually has as a useful running back in his career. Like, does Chuba Hubbard, I know he's paid by the Panthers. I think he eventually gets cuttable. And if Jonathan Brooks is something this year, they just roll with Jonathan Brooks. And then we're looking at Chuba Hubbard as kind of just an expensive Rico, or what we think Rico Dowdle is for the Steelers this year, or like an expensive Kenneth Gainwell, whatever we think Kenneth Gainwell is going to be for the Bucks. It wouldn't surprise me if Chuba Hubbard became that. I'm not necessarily predicting it, but when talking trades, I think Derrick Henry's just going to be good for a year. So I would rather have Derrick Henry than Hubbard and Downs, who could easily just not hit the way we want. It's possible it works out. These players to me just feel a little bit more risky. Where I personally would stick with Derrick Henry. I think on the value, there's a lot of people who like Josh Downs, and you could pivot to something else with Josh Downs. So just talking value, like it's even-ish. I personally would stay with Derrick Henry. But that's more getting into personal preference on the players. Kanoa, any team reviews tonight? Very unlikely. We're at an hour and 40 minutes in, and we have not. The trade queue just keeps growing. So it's a good sign for the health of the site and the show. But we can't get to any team reviews tonight. Okay, ZC Jesus. 12-team Superflex, start 10, full PPR. Full PPR. Okay, notes. I accepted this trade. That 27-second they acquire should be the 201 to 203. I'm loaded and loaded with picks. This trade pissed someone off so bad he quit. Okay, this is Coolio. Coolio, you have Zay Flowers. You sent Jacoby Lane and 2 seconds for Zay Flowers. Yeah, give me Zay Flowers. This feels like one of the, like, because you've submitted so many, I see a couple other from you. It's Zay Flowers. I don't know how you got thirds on top here. We'll keep things moving. We would only go that fast for ZC Jesus, who's been with, I mean, thank you for continuously submitting trades. Nonflow said, what? Did I miss something? Did I mess that one up? Did I mess that one up? All right, Fausto in the one and only Dynasty League. This is the only Dynasty League there is. This is the one and only. 10-team Superflex, start 10. Okay, just the trade makes no sense. Yeah, it's Zay Flowers, and we're not going to spend time on it. Fausto, 10-team Superflex, start 10. The notes here say, I'm trying to sell high on May. I got Allen, Lawrence, and Shuck as my other quarterbacks. I prefer depth for my flex. I could be fine with that. Let's take a look at the trade. Are we sending Drake May for Drake May and George Kittle? No tight end premium on this trade for Brock Bowers, a 27 first in the 107. Is this a sell high? You might be able to get more. You might be able to get more on this deal. Namflo saying no tight end premium. I don't know. And I'll chime in with what you guys say. If you want to chime in with your thoughts in the chats, we read them out. With the league roster, like, yeah, you have Josh Allen, you have Drake May, you got Bijan, Genti, James Cook, Henderson, Puka, Neighbors, Amon-Ra, Rashee Rice, Luther Burden, Marvin Harrison, Levlin, Gadsden, who would then be sitting behind Brock Bowers. I will say it's a monster team. This team, the Ring Chasers, it's a monster team. I don't know how many teams in this league can compete with you, but I'll add in, you could get more for Drake May. I think you have George Kittle. Okay, yeah, you would be moving Kittle. You have Loveland and Gadsden. I think you could still get more for Drake May because there's no tight end premium. 227 first too is just what Namflo's saying. Oh, in terms of what he has. Oh, he has 227 first on top of this. How does a team like this happen? Yeah, I don't know. We'll say nicely done, Fausto. I personally would hold Drake May and shoot for more. And G-Ness saying, if you're win now, why get firsts there? Rather get players to help me win immediately. Well, we're looking for, let's talk about that. With that trade, I thought the value was low on what you were getting for Drake May, but there are times, G-Ness, where even with the team you have, it's June. I don't care if I'm getting a 27 first, if I'm getting a ton of value, and then I just trade that 27 first. Last offseason, I traded for a 26 first. Then I paired that with my own and traded it away for another player. Blue Sky, I can see the messages from YouTube. We're just only taking trade questions through the site. Blue Sky, can you see the messages on YouTube? Up here, submit your trades at boombustfantasy.com. We'll just flip it on you, Blue Sky. We can see your message, boss. And you can see right there where to submit your trades. I see your message in the chat, Garrett Wilson for Sam Laporta. You can see the queue of trades and how to submit them. So I think you can get more on that one. And even if for Genius, like in June, we're not done trading. Blue Sky says, I can't see it, champ. Like, oh no, oh no. Next trade, Drake London or Terry McLaurin and Hampton. Ooh. From, is this Snugs 1? I definitely am not even gonna, I cannot speak any sort of Spanish. A 12 team, one quarterback, start 11, PPR full point tight end premium. I mean, I feel like Drake London and Omarion Hampton are, I'm going to pull up startup ADP. They got to be very close to each other. Garlic is saying you want Hampton and McLaurin. I think I might be on Drake London, or saying it's very close. Like, is the upside of Terry McLaurin bouncing back enough to swap me over? Now I'm saying this one's preference. Let's look at, I just need to look up like where does the market have these two players, because they're going to be very close. So can we, what do I click? I click here and then I click clear the overlay, Dynasty startup. We're looking for Omarion Hampton right here. And where does they have Drake London? Like the exact scoring isn't going to exactly translate, but I don't know that it's going to matter a ton here. So like Namflo saying this one's preference, that's about how the market has it. Omarion Hampton in general, like ADP is going this many picks before Drake London. So Hampton, 1 pick, 2 pick, London. That's interchangeable. That's interchangeable. GNS, do I have any concerns with London's quarterback situation? He had Penix last year. He'll get Penix and a equivalent Penix in Tua this year. I don't know that Penix is that great. They swapped last year to Kirk Cousins, and that was okay. Like, I don't. A lot of the production that we got from Drake London happened with bad quarterbacks last year. So Tua and Penix are about as good as Penix and Kirk from last year. It's not a huge sway for me. And for Dynasty, it's also pretty likely, like, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Falcons just go the other way. So the trade really comes down to, like, does Terry McLaurin move you off of your guy? Like, it could. Let me swap back up to throw the trade back up on the screen. The team here has Drake London. They don't have a running back. They have Justin Jefferson, Jalen Waddle, Jaden Reed. They would bring in Terry McLaurin for this year. So, like, yeah, I think this is fine. I'm going to, like, call it pretty even and say, like, I'd be okay making the swap. If you have Drake London, you're getting a little bit more value. I think Omarion Hampton is really highly thought of and now needs to actually produce to hit where the market has him. But I don't hate that. I don't think this is a bad swap. Fits the team, that we're not overpaying. You get Terry McLaurin for this year, and if that works out, great. If it doesn't, the value's pretty close anyway. All right, fast one for Jesus. ZC sending Alvin Kamara, bringing in Pat Bryant and a fourth. Pat was a cut candidate, and now you bring in Kamara. We're cutting Pat Bryant at a 28 fourth and combining it to Alvin Kamara. Like, we'll go over this one because we have a couple from Jesus in the queue, and I don't want people watching, going through the queue, waiting their turn to hear me talk to this one guy for forever. The notes here, I think Alvin Kamara has another 2 to 3 years in New Orleans or somewhere else. I think he's got, like, it wouldn't surprise me if Kamara was not playing this year. I know they have to pay him. It's hard for them to get out of paying Kamara this year. So I'll just take that for the upside that maybe he's playing, because it's a fourth in Pat Bryant. But I don't see 2 to 3 years left for Kamara. This one, it's the same dude. It's the same dude. Let's take a look. CMG, I think both sides are awful. Yeah. Accepted this trade. The ones in second acquire should be 101 and 103 each year. You have zero faith in Harvey and a third round pick. You essentially value Trey for 2 firsts. Looking at this one, a 28 and 29 first. Namflo, they are very far out. I might just stick with Trey McBride here. It's possible we get to 28 and 29. And for the team that we have, they submitted this back-to-back champ. ZC Jesus usually has pretty good teams. We're sending Trey McBride for 2 firsts. I think you could have gotten more. And I probably would have just held Harvey. Trey McBride for 2 firsts in a non-tight end premium is around the price. They're just further out than I would have liked. I would have rather you got 27 and a 28. And I like Harvey to bounce back or just be a solid RB2, which I guess is close to, I think Harvey's a little undervalued right now for the production you're probably going to get. Okay, CMG, who we've just been talking to. Let's take a look. 10-team Superflex, start 10, full PPR, half-point tight end premium. What have we got? Devon Achane and Sam Laporta. Okay, this is double Superflex with the QB. 3 quarterbacks total. So you're also in a 3 quarterback league. These are wild. These are the first ones I've ever heard of this. We'll talk through it because you've been with us. I don't know that I'm going to be right on this, on valuing a 3 quarterback league. Because, like, you could just start 3 quarterbacks and that's super valuable. So I don't know the math on that. I don't know the math on that. I've never heard of a 3. I mean, it's not insane, but like the math is very different. We get plenty of people that join our shows. Blue Sky, you figured it out. Nicely done. Nice. Thank you very much. We get plenty of people who join our shows in like late July, early August, who see Dynasty draft boards and don't understand 2 quarterback leagues and laugh and say, why is anyone drafting a quarterback in the first round? What a joke of a league. And I'm going to say, I don't know. 3 quarterback leagues is 10 teams is 30 quarterbacks, but you can start 3 each week. That's so much, because you're like that super flex. You would have to be calculating quarterbacks versus like replacement level flex players and how much value you're gaining there for the calculation. I'll talk through this. Like, it's probably Jalen Hurts, but don't listen to me. It's probably the right answer. Like, my gut says it's probably Jalen Hurts, but don't listen to me, because I don't know 3 quarterback league values. So we'll have to add something in here. Realistically, the future on the site for that is, if we're charging for trade credits, we would probably try to catch this and say, hey, we might talk about this during the show, but we don't know the answer. But I feel like, I mean, take a look at what I would do if let's try to give you more information. If I'm in a league like that, I'm going to look at who won the league last year. What was their team? You can also, if this Dynasty team has been happening for multiple seasons, like take a look at what is the makeup of the teams getting into the playoffs? How many quarterbacks are they starting? How many points are they getting from that super flex position over other players? Like, who's getting started at flexes in the super flex? Because there could be teams that aren't starting players. Like, I don't know who else was starting at quarterback, but pretty bad. Like JJ McCarthy. If you had JJ McCarthy, were you starting him? CMG, you won the league with that wide receiver core. Like, I would start looking at things like that. Like, who else is getting in there? How much of a difference is it making for teams to have those quarterbacks? I also wouldn't know trade market values to even tell you, like, are you getting a good trade value within a realistic market? Like, how well does your league even know your league settings for trades? It's about the best I can do. It's just like, here's as much as I know and how I process it. And the answer is I don't know. Wout Brown, the Water Boys. Did it pop up? Hit that like chat from Russell Gaw. That one I saw come in live, so I read it. Which hey, that's great, because it helps me. Sometimes when I finish a thought where I don't feel confident in what I said, I just look at the chat and hope someone says something, and then I say it. And that one helped me. Here we go. Wout Bone, 12-team Superflex, start 10, full point PPR, half point tight end premium. Notes, just made this trade. Thoughts, hoping this puts me in a place to feel really good about my chances. Which team are you? You just got Puka? I think I like the Puka side of this deal. So let's talk through it, because I probably want 3 to 4 firsts for Puka Nacua. Namflo, this feels like a trade from earlier. I don't think my Puka video that I recorded this weekend has come out yet, but I've talked through trades like this recently. I'm going to value Carnell Tate as like 2 firsts. I think people are shooting a little bit high on 27 firsts, but even if it was just 228 firsts, that's what I would want for Carnell Tate. And I would want 3 for Puka. Like, the value's like there. It's just all these picks are super far out. I'm fine with sending them to get Puka. Like, you could probably now take these things that or take Puka and just trade back to stuff pretty close to what you sent away, but better. Could you get like Jordan Tyson, a 28 first and a 27 second? I bet you could. Like you could just trade to Puka and then get right back to where you were, but better. And Puka's contending for you. He's the number one receiver on your team. Looking at the team, Daniels, Herbert, Stafford at quarterbacks, Genty, Scatabo, Jacobs, Hubbard, like you're fine. You don't have future firsts going forward. You might have this team, like you might be looking at this team and need to, this feels like a player rental. You send your 29 first, you bring in Puka, and then this offseason, you could probably trade Puka and down tier and pick up a 28 first or a different first and come away. But you don't have any more firsts after this. So like, I don't personally love going all in this way, but I don't think you overpaid. I'll give the slight edge to the Puka side. For most teams, I would really, really want the Puka side. For yours, I do start to get to like, hey man, we're sending all our firsts. As long as you know your plan going forward to get back to adding more players onto this team through the first round, which you could do by moving Puka and moving some of the other players you have. Did I miss something? A message came through from Jerry just saying at me. I'm not sure if I missed something, Jerry. Arctic Tiger, could Joey Bosa join Garrett Wilson or Miles Garrett this year? I don't know. Possibly. It's possible. That I don't actually know about, like cap situations and where the Bosas are, or which Bosa's which and where they are right now. Lukey, I traded in the chat. You posted a trade question. We're only taking trades through the site. I know most people watch us on the TikTok feed, which does not show the live queue, but on YouTube and Twitch, we have the live queue of trade questions that have come through. Namflo, have you seen any trades for David Montgomery? Looking to move off of him? I'm pretty sure I did him last week. So you could check the YouTube for David Montgomery trades. I want to say that dropped last week. Within the last 2 weeks. We do have all the videos that will come out this week done. So they do start to blur together of how long ago I actually recorded it. But they're never more than 4 days ahead in terms of recording. It's just, I don't know exactly which day it came out, but I'm pretty sure it was recent. Here's a deal from Cali in a 10-team, 1 quarterback start 8. How are we feeling? Puka Nacua, Josh Jacobs, Mike Evans on one side in Dynasty for Neighbors, Jeremiah Love, AJ Brown, and the second. I think we're taking the Jeremiah Love side. Like just roughly, I think we're taking the Jeremiah Love side, right? Yeah. NBS Cali, I added the second to the wrong side. It's not going to make a huge difference to me. Not a huge difference. Like moving on from Josh Jacobs, Mays saying, yes, we are. I think I am. I don't know what level of production we're going to get from Mike Evans. This feels like I'm getting paid a lot for Mike Evans to go to AJ Brown. Yeah, it's like Puka is valuable. It's 10-team start 8. We're only starting 80, but we're not getting far enough down to really worry. Where like the thing that's losing the most value is this 28 second, even if it's on the other side of the deal, even if the deal's entered incorrectly. I think I'm still taking the other side. I see some messages in the chat. Let's talk about them because they are not specific trade questions. Let's get to those. Like one, Russell Gaw, thank you for the YouTube follow, subscribe. Duncan Sir, thank you for the Twitch follow. Eddie Slats, thank you for the Twitch follow. Duncan Sir, do you have any? You don't have any dynasty leagues. You have 3 redraft leagues. Do you have PPR rankings closer to the season? We will. Closer to the season. We'll also have multiple. For any 12 or 10 team league, we will end up with mock drafts for every single position. And we'll probably do like 2 or 3 mock draft videos a day in August, just continuously adding in mock drafts from different positions. So we'll have rankings out there as well as mock drafts, there's just not, like, if we were doing rankings right now, they would probably be closer to like underdog best ball drafts right now. Let's do the next one. We've been going for 2 hours. Let's cover a couple more of these. We'll see where we're at. I don't know how long we'll go. That's basically what I'm thinking through right now. Okay, Ty Flack, 10-team Superflex, 5 point per passing touchdown, start 9, PPR. Are we taking Oronde Gadsden or TJ Hawkinson in 2/3? Give me the Gadsden side. Give me the Gadsden side here. Oops, just clicked on Oronde Gadsden. There's not a ton to say here. Like, it's possible Gadsden like bounces back. But if I'm moving off of Gadsden for Hawkinson, maybe I said the wrong name. It's possible Hawkinson bounces back and is very good again. There's no tight end premium here. I'm just taking the Gadsden side. Eddie Slats, you have a trade pending. Do you know when it's going to get looked at? It's kind of what we're talking through right now. In the past, we've cleared the queue on any given night, but I just can't go for hours. So it'll either be tonight or Wednesday, and then the videos exist on YouTube. I see you're watching on Twitch, but these are live on YouTube as well, and then they just auto post on YouTube. So on any given YouTube channel, there should be a live tab, and that's where you would find these. And the queue will be across the top of the screen on the YouTube feed. Malcolm Flo claimed the throne. 12-team Superflex, start 10, full point per tight end premium, bigger, or a full point per reception, bigger 0.75 tight end premium. One side, Cam Scatabo in a 27-second. The other side, Harvey, Shaheed, Rashad Bateman, and a 4th. I'm the type of person who takes 4th-round picks, Rashad Bateman's, Shaheed's, and just does deals like this and groups them all up and says, give me Cam Scatabo. Give me Cam Scatabo. And I think that's where I'm feeling. Like, I like Harvey more than most people. I might even be a little bit low on Scatabo, but even with that, I'm taking the Scatabo side here. Like, a 4th-round pick very rarely becomes anything. You're hoping that a 4th-round pick gives you the career, gives you the career of Rashid Shaheed, who isn't doing that much for you. Looking at the roster here, am I sending, like, oh, this is the Scatabo. This team has Scatabo. I'm sticking with Scatabo. I'm not bringing in all of these other options. Is there something here where we need Rashid Shaheed and Rashad Bateman and an extra 4th? No. The team as shown here does not need any of those things. You've got JSN, Malik Neighbors, Tet McMillan, Josh Downs. Like, maybe you look for a little bit of depth with Rashid, Shaheed, and Bateman, but if we feel like we're contending, and this team probably is, like, at a very fast glance, is good enough to make the playoffs, I would consider sending my 27-second to just get a cheaper wide receiver, like a Michael Pittman for depth, a DK Metcalf for depth, a different veteran player rather than Shaheed, Bateman, and a 4th at that price. Chube, do you think Luther Burden takes over as wide receiver 1? I don't think in that way. I don't try to. So the question of so we had a couple questions that we'll also hit from Chube on YouTube. Do I think Luther Burden takes over as wide receiver 1? I don't play fantasy that way. I don't call a lot of shots and then just draft as though someone is going to do that. Like, my brain is really just Roma Dunze and Luther Burden are both very similar values. Both of them could be the top wide receiver. Colson Loveland could be the top passing option. And then I play the market that way. I'll set a range of outcomes for these guys and then build my teams around that concept rather than picking who is going to lead that backfield and going for it. And the way that plays out, especially in like redraft, is like there's probably going to be leagues where I just don't have either one of them. Because like if the prices are so high, that usually means the downside's not baked in. So I'll just let someone else is going to win, and someone else is going to lose, and they'll have Luther Burden and Roma Dunze, and I don't know which one's the winner, and I don't know which one's the loser. When you're drafting, you just have to keep in mind someone else is going to get a good deal. They just are. Like, you're not going to get every win. So if I'm looking for big value wins, I try to just let other people take them. Other people take those shots, and I look for value win potentials that have the downside built into the price already. So I don't know Luther Burden and Roma Dunze's ADP. We won't really know that until like August of what the market thinks of these guys. With Ben Johnson saying things like he's buying in on Luther Burden, I'll say that doesn't mean much to me. So I don't know where the market's going to end up on those guys, but I'm unlikely to end up with Luther Burden. And then I saw one other question. Pilot James, I have to leave soon. Dynasty only streamer is my redraft question. Something you're willing to answer? Probably. Who are your guys on the turn in a 12-man PPR redraft? That one I don't know. Because we'll usually wait until we get closer to the season to see who's taking what, because I will often take into account like the market. And then Alejandro, would you say the fourth position in the draft is the best this year? Absolutely not. There is no best draft position, Alejandro. You win your league by finding breakout players, and it doesn't matter if you picked 4th or 5th or 8th or 12th. That does not ever correlate to who wins the league. Because who you picked if you got pick 4 or pick 8 last year, like, didn't really matter nearly as much as did you have Michael Wilson winning you your league who was undrafted. Like, we win your league in November and December, not at your draft. Here we go, Nico. I'm in a league with Nico, but I'm not in this league. It's a 12-team super flex, 6-point passing touchdown, start 11, full point PPR with a half-point tight end premium. How are we feeling on this one? Breece Hall or Bucky Irving? And then a first on one side and a second on the other. I think I'm just taking the side with the first here. Very similar to what we were just saying with Roma Dunze and Luther Burden. Like, Breece Hall, is Breece Hall older than Bucky Irving? I know he's been in the league longer, but he was a higher tier prospect, drafted younger. I feel like these guys are 1 to 2 years apart. I'm probably just taking the side with the first round pick. Like, market value on Bucky Irving versus Breece Hall, how far off are these guys? I'll just take the side that has the first round pick. That's my gut reaction reading into it. Namflow, it says an early first. Like, we don't know for sure that it's I am also the type of person that says we don't actually know that it's an early first. There is the option to enter that on the site, and I do factor it in, but more often than not, I'll tell people you don't actually know. I'm taking the side with the first round pick. Going from a second to a first to maybe have a lower value at running back, I'll take the first. If things shake, like, how badly would things have to go for Breece, and how great would they have to go for Bucky Irving to outdo any sort of value gain from a first to a second? Just give me the first. Matthew, thank you for the TikTok follow. Okay, we've got 10 in the queue. There's no way we're going to get through 10. So let's say that we'll do 3 more. We usually have fewer trades on Wednesday's show as it is. So we'll do 3 more today. We'll be back 7:30 Central Time Wednesday, where we start with fewer trades, and we'll get through them. We covered Nico, so we've got Adam, Ben, and Jonesy as the 3. Adam, with the added context, want to add that I hope to flip a wide receiver, but Nico preferably, and tier up using one of the 27 first. Okay, this is a bigger deal. Made this trade today where you get Nico, Jonathan Taylor craft package, plus what I'm hoping is a mid 27 first, going all in, hoping for a back-to-back. Okay, you just got Nico Collins. I'm looking at your roster. I see Nico. You've got 227 firsts. And do I have this correct? You want to add that I hope to flip a wide receiver, but Nico preferably, and tier up using a first. Okay, I like the process so far. I haven't even looked at the trade, but just the mindset is right. You made a deal and you know that you want to make a follow-up deal and tier up. You sent away Achane. Achane to Taylor is very similar on value. We might get higher production from Taylor on a better offense. Mekhi Lemon to Nico Collins is close enough. And then we moved up a year. I don't hate this deal at all. As I'm first going through it, like even if we're just crossing things off on my end, they're stacked more like this. The trade's like 4 players stacked on one side, 4 players stacked on one side, but a 28 first or a 27 first, we all like a 27 first. It happens sooner. A Rondé Gadsden or Tucker Kraft. Maybe it's Gadsden. Maybe it's Gadsden. It's not a huge difference in this league. And Tucker Kraft has been like the lead pass catcher for the Packers when he's healthy. And then we swap Devon Achane for Jonathan Taylor. You lose age, but I think right now they're pretty close on value. I'm kind of fine with getting out on Achane. They're probably not close on value. I think I'm messing that up. We're looking at good product. They're not close on value. They're about a round pick apart. Achane over Hampton, but I don't think that's a crazy value dip to go from Achane to Jonathan Taylor. I think I said Hampton at some point in there. I meant going from Achane to Jonathan Taylor. And then Mekhi Lemon to Nico Collins are closer on value, and you're just going to older guys, but getting an earlier pick. I think you're fine here. Yeah. And then you have that 27 first that you want to start doing some up tiers with. I think it's even, I'm going to say, like, I don't think we're getting a massive value win. I think it's a pretty good deal. Hanky Spanky, even with the Chargers signing Njoku, like, yeah, I am taking the Chargers signing Njoku into account here of dipping Gadsden's value a little bit. Still younger, still a good tight end for that team. And I think the tight ends are going to be better. I think you've done all right here, going from the 28 first to someone else's 27 first that probably has way more value that you then use to up tier elsewhere. I think you're fine. Covered Adam. What do we got? Ben and Jonesy as the final ones. We're getting raw. Getting froggy here. You just did this trade. You ended up taking Singleton and Antonio Williams. Would I move Zach Charbonnet and Tony Pollard for Nick Singleton and Antonio Williams? I think I'm sticking with Charbonnet. Stanky Guso, the gap between Jonathan Taylor and Achane cannot be this big. We'll jump back to that, Stanky. For this deal here on your screen, it's a 12-team, 1 quarterback start 8. I think I'm taking Charbonnet. I'm not that excited to take bets on Singleton and Antonio Williams. I know Charbonnet's hurt and not performing for you this year, but I think it's also likely that it's pretty likely that we're not getting anything from Singleton or Antonio Williams this year. Maybe we do, but a lot of the times guys taken at that point in the NFL draft don't give you value of really any kind. So I think I like looking at this team. I think you guys can see it on here as well. Like maybe we get something from Jack Besh this year, but he was a 2nd round pick last year that we were excited about, who has done nothing and doesn't, like, maybe he's something for the Raiders this year, but we don't know that he is. That's how I feel about Antonio Williams and Nick Singleton and like Emmett Johnson on this team. Like maybe one of these guys hits, but I probably would have just rather had Zach Charbonnet coming back healthy and then signing somewhere else after this year to a team. Like it would not surprise me if Charbonnet is signed to start somewhere the same way Ken Walker was just signed to start somewhere. So I personally try to stick with the proven assets rather than 2nd round rookie picks. That's my preference. To Sometimes they hit though. Like that's, and it's going to hit for someone else because I don't take a lot of them. Mays saying Pollard still got some life in him. Like, yeah, we've seen Tony Pollard play and work. Like I try to stay open to all possibilities. It's definitely possible that Singleton plays ahead of Tony Pollard, but it's also really possible that Tony Pollard just keeps his job as the lead guy there. A lot of NFL, like every NFL team passed on Nick Singleton multiple times to take other players. And I do value that. Tyler with the follow. Thank you very much. Ultimately, we can disagree on this one. And if you're right, like I'm not going to say you made a dumb trade. There's a real chance you're going to be right here. It's not the way I build teams. I'll usually stick with these older veterans who have been performing and play things out that way. I don't take a ton of shots on second rounders. The final one that we'll look at is Jonesy. Jadarian Price or Zay Flowers, you're trading away Price in Superflex Dynasty. It's a 14-team Superflex, start 9. I'm not a massive Jadarian Price believer. I mean, I think let's take a look at the teams here. I think the value is about what you're going to get. We're just, the upside is on Jadarian Price. If he comes out and looks good in the first month of the season, he's going to be worth more than Zay Flowers. Does that happen? I don't know, but I can see a clear path to higher value with Price compared to Zay Flowers. But I would guess, like, how far off are these guys in? I don't have the full Dynasty startup draft board memorized. How far off are these guys in just general value? This is a 14-team Superflex, so quarterbacks are going to be a bit more valuable. These guys are both going in the same round, like 5 picks apart in a Dynasty startup. Zay Flowers at pick 62, Jadarian Price at pick 66. So this is the 1-for-1 crossover to go from a running back to a wide receiver, which this team does need to do. This team has 2 running backs that are very good, Bijan and Saquon, and they're looking at Terry McLaurin, Mike Evans, Jacoby Myers. The only thing I might be looking at this team and saying is very aging wide receiver core, not great at quarterback in a super flex. I might just stick with Jadarian Price for the upside to help the rebuild that it looks like this team is going through. But I have not fully scanned every single player on this team. I'm going to call it even, but I might just hold Price for a team in a rebuild. I'd just hold Price and stay at the higher shot on value. Let's clear out some of the messages in the chat and wrap it up. Like Tyler Genty or Breece Hall in a 27 first. We take all of our trades through our site, so, boombustfantasy.com. On the TikTok feed, we don't have the trade queue showing, but on Twitch and YouTube, where we also show the entire roster of the team who submitted the trade, and we talk through like how does the trade fit their roster, like we just did with Jadarian Price. With that, we've got 7 trades, and I think we've said we're done taking new trades tonight. We'll clear out the 6 that will remain after this on Wednesday, and we'll add more trades to the queue on Wednesday and Tuesday as things come through. Poopy Breath Fart, what do you use as your Dynasty calculator? Out of just like my own mind, I do pull up a site like Keep Trade Cut to get a gauge of if things are very far off, but I also just use extra rules on top if I'm using Keep Trade Cut. Like some of the rules that I use, we've talked about on the show today. I think we had a trade with Brock Bowers in a tight end premium as one piece in the trade, and then someone else was getting a 3rd round pick in the trade. And I'll say, I often just will eliminate any 3rd round picks, 4th round. Like if we're trading a 1st round startup asset, I don't care about any 3rd round picks in the deal. We're going to look at the good players, and then sometimes these like extra picks will sway things, but usually you can just eliminate all the picks and get a gauge of how we feel about the trade. So I'll have some extra rules on top when using Keep Trade Cut. I'll also like only look at like 2-for-2s or 3-for-3s on a trade calculator and break bigger trades down like that. But oftentimes, just using my own mind and my own values, I spend a lot of time looking at real trades, a lot of time looking at keep, trade, cut to get a gauge of what the market thinks of players, and real trades showing what the market thinks of players. So stuff like that. I do also right now, we just talked about in the trade that's on the screen. I look at, we'll swap to this view right now. We'll clear the overlay and we'll swap to a browser view. This trade of Jadarian Price for Zay Flowers, I'll look at a site like this, Dynasty Data Lab ADP for startups. Like, this is real people starting Dynasty leagues. We looked at Jadarian Price. He was right around here in my mind. We'll do a Control F. One thing we'll look at is, like, if people are starting Dynasty leagues, Jadarian Price is going in at the tail end of this round. Let's reset this filter. He's going right here. Let me make sure you guys can see where I'm pointing. Yeah, you can. On TikTok, he's going here. This round goes this way. You can view my mouse on the TikTok feed. He's at the end of this round, and we saw that Zay Flowers was going a couple picks ahead of him, which just means people view this as a fine 1-for-1 crossover. Wide receiver to running back right there. So it's not really a dynasty calculator, that one for 1-for-1 value. It's just, this is what hundreds of real people are doing. They're valuing these guys right next to each other. So I'll look at, I'll consider my own projections for players going into the year, but I also do keep in mind, especially right now in June, this is what real people are doing. These are real trades you should expect to be able to make. These are values that a lot of people in aggregate agree on. It's not always what you're going to get in your league, but when I'm thinking of trades, I think about, what can I get if I acquire a player? Can I flip them for something else? Phoebe, you had to go for 30 minutes. You missed your trade. The videos stay live on YouTube. The videos exist on YouTube, Phoebe. So I don't know exactly how YouTube handles live streams. I think they go offline for a little bit, but I don't know if it's going to show because I'm not really logged in on this browser. You should be able to see right here, this tab live. You can see all of the live trade shows that we've done. I don't know that they immediately go up. Here's this one right now. It might go offline for processing when the show ends, but then it will come up when they're done on their end. There's nothing that I do for these. So they'll exist and you'll be able to see your trades moving across the queue at the top of the screen to get that. Stinky Gusso, what do you think of Bashal Tutin? Am I drinking the Kool-Aid? Not really. Not really. For Bashal Tutin, if I'm trading for him, I would do I would keep the concepts that we were just talking about in mind. What are people getting for that player? If I trade for Bashal Tutin, I should probably be able to get around the 110 in value in other trades. So I'm fine with bringing that player in. I'll look at them and say, same thing. I don't know if you were here when we were talking about who's going to be the lead wide receiver for the Bears. Is it going to be Luther Burden or is it going to be Roma Dunze? What's going to happen with Bashal Tutin? I don't know. He'll probably get a crack at being the lead back for the Jags. And if he is, that's going to hold a lot of value, but there's a real chance that he isn't. And that's kind of where I sit with him. So when we get to questions of are you drinking the Kool-Aid? I stay very far from trying to definitively decide what's actually going to happen. And I just stay with, there's about this percentage of chance that he's the starter, and here's what I think happens if he is. And there's also a real chance that he's not the starter or that it's a split. And here's what his value might look like if that happens. If a lot of people think he's going to be the starter, I would trade for Tutin so that I could trade him away on the high end. But right now, around the 110 is a fine bet to bring him in to be the starter. Dalton Lee with a question in TikTok chat. We take all our trades through our website at boombustfantasy.com. We don't read them from the chat. we're just wrapping up the show here. We will be back on Wednesday at 7:30 Central Time to cover more trades. Depending on how many trades are in the queue, we'll probably cover some team reviews, and then we'll be rolling out team reviews for sure within the, I want to say, looking at the calendar, I'm committing that we will be covering team reviews as a paid product next week. So that will launch sometime in the next 7 to 10 days. We'll wrap it up there. May saying see you on Wednesday. Have a great night. Thank you guys for hanging with us. We'll wrap it up there and we'll close it out. Dalton Lee, you answered it almost a week ago. Just a follow up. Dalton, I wish I had that sort of memory to know which trades to recall trades and how we felt about a team. I don't know all of my own teams, Dalton. Sometimes I just pull them up and read it in and process it from there. So I wish I could remember the exact context for your league, but my brain just cannot do that. We're going to close this up. We'll let my wife go to bed because I am just yapping in what is our bedroom. Thank you guys. We will be back on Wednesday.